Hey!
What's up, kiddies?
What's going on?
We're back for another segment of Project GR Supra Manuel.
Probably lowest miles and highest mods ever.
This could be a record. I wonder if anybody's done this so far.
I mean, this is going to be the cleanest exhaust I've ever removed from a car, probably.
For those of you just tuning in, this car has now 18 miles on the odometer. I drove it, I think, before the last install. Yeah, when we did the suspension. I drove it up the road to a stop sign, turned around, and came home.
It's about a quarter mile away.
About a quarter mile. That's as much as I've driven, and then up the driveway. So that's about all I've driven this damn thing so far. Two reasons. It's wintertime here in Connecticut. The roads have salt all over them. When I drove it that night, we actually got a lot of rain and they were clear, but the car's waiting to go to PPF. And I'll be damned if anything happens to my only car that has mint paint. So it's got to get PPF'd. But we had a nice, well, I had a nice surprise land this week. And it's finally, what
we're doing tonight.
A sure as shit modification that's going to save us some weight, which I said in the beginning of this build off was going to be the goal.
We've only added weight.
We've only added weight. So tonight we're going to be changing the exhaust from the downpipe back. I do have a downpipe for it. It's a Project Gamma catless downpipe. I'll show that at a later date, but we're not installing this. We're not installing the downpipe tonight for two reasons. One, I got to put the car through the break-in. At least going catless downpipe is going to throw a check engine light, and for the first break-in miles or whatever, I want it to be, as close to stock as possible. And two, I'm not going to tune the car until well after the engine, proves that it's reliable. I don't have a lemon from the factory. A catback's not really going to hurt anything. In fact, I don't even think it's going to do anything for performance on this car because the stock exhaust looks like it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
With the exception of it's going to save weight. How much weight, you ask, Matthew? Allegedly 29.5 pounds.
We're going to prove that.
And we're going to prove that because we're going to take a before and after weight. One, I'm curious to see how much weight we've added thus far in the project. So we're going to weigh it before the exhaust and then again right after. And we're going to do it the whole car strictly because the exhaust came in 4 pieces, the new one.
We're doing the old before and after. You go into the bathroom.
That's right. It's like before you go and after you go. See what the actual weight reduction is.
All right, Quinn, show me what you got.
All right, kids, here's what I went with. Well, real quick, the criteria I wanted to save as much weight as possible is to go to a titanium exhaust. And this is one car that I was willing to splurge and actually spend some real money on an exhaust because I don't think I'm doing another serious car build like this. This is like the Halo car, right? There was 2 titanium options. One was Akrapovic, which I love Akrapovic on motorcycles. The majority of my motorcycles have full titanium Akrapovic exhausts. But for the Supra, 1, it's extremely expensive. 2, only the muffler section is titanium. The mid-pipe section is stainless steel. And given the price point, it was really hard to justify the cost. So I was looking for exhaust that was full tie, that has a real muffler, and resonators, and I found one. And it's made by a Japanese company called SARD. And here it is.
There she is. Look at them blue
SARD,
tips.
S-A-R-D. Now, there's a little bit of wonkiness to it, and I'll explain that in a minute, but here's the key takeaways for it. So we have this tie looks very comparable to the titanium that's used in Akrapovic stuff. This looks like it's robotically welded, which is fine, as long as it's good. But 2 big things here. Nice big giant oval muffler, which is important because a lot of the Supra exhausts that were titanium have a little bullet style muffler, which I know it's going to be loud and I do not want to ruin this car. One of the big goals for this is to improve upon everything without compromising the comfort or the shootability of it. And 2, it has a valve. So this is OEM sport button compatible. So when you press the sport button in the car, it stiffens the shocks, which we left the OEM shocks in place because they're good. The valving on the OEM shocks is excellent, actually. And then you get the 2 ride modes for comfort. And then it stiffens the steering rack and it opens up the second exhaust valve to allow more exhaust flow through this and less muffling, which, I mean, the exhaust is still going through the muffler no matter what, but even on the stock exhaust, when you open that valve up, it literally sounds like it has an aftermarket exhaust on it. Which stock sounds pretty darn good.
It does sound pretty good for a factory exhaust.
It's really not bad, but again, the goal for this was weight savings. Now some of the wonky bits of this, these tips. I don't know if I love these tips. Wow, this thing is really light, huh? I don't know if I love these tips.
Is that like a burnt or is that like anodized or what? What is that?
I don't know if it looks like it's heat colored, but maybe it's anodized. I don't know. I have no idea. It's probably gonna carbon foul black, but I don't know if I love the bead blasted stainless here. It's really dull, and two, it's a flat cut tip, which the stock is an angle cut and it goes with the bumper a little bit nicer. So I don't know how this is gonna look. The stock photos of it, it looked like a little, protruding. I didn't love that. So
we'll see. We'll see. You got to see it on the car.
We can adjust it.
Yep.
We can push the whole assembly back and hopefully hide it a little bit so it's not as sticking out. Stock downpipe opens up, and even the aftermarket ones. They're all 81 at the snout. 81? 81 millimeter OD, or about there, 80 and change, but whatever, call it 81 OD. 80 to 60 millimeter pipes, which I thought was weird because these are 70 mil after these resonators, important resonators. But when I calculated the area of the 260s combined, because remember this starts as a single, wise to the 2, and then grows to 70 after the resonators. This is still more surface area combined than the 80 is. I had a panic moment when I unboxed it and I was looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute, it said 80 to 70. It didn't say 80 to 60, then the 70.
But I think we were under the car, another time we were working on it, and this section I think is flat.
It is flat.
It's ovalized, so I think that's why they had to drop down to a smaller diameter pipe there.
Yeah, Matt, you pointed that out to me because there's a space confinement there. I don't think they could fit the 270s. But again, as long as we're growing surface area and not shrinking it and creating a bottleneck, then that's fine. Again, only titanium exhaust that I found that had dual resonators in it. I don't want this thing droney, especially when we go catless downpipe. I don't want it to be obnoxious with the valve open. Finally, these are our two sections after the resonators that made up to the muffler section stuff. Titanium is just...
That's awesome.
It's so awesome how light it is. I guess that's the gist for the exhaust. I think I'm the first person in the United States to actually buy and install this exhaust. I have yet to see anyone on any of the forums, on YouTube, anywhere other than videos from Japan. So that's another cool bit about it.
So we gotta get this video up quick.
If you have a SARD exhaust, you better let us know, because I'm curious. All right.
Let's get to work.
Let's get some sound clips.
Oh yeah, sound clips first.
Well, I guess we'll play everything at the end. We're gonna get the weight. We'll give you guys sound clips before and after the install, and we'll get this thing on the car. All right, so keeping track of the weights. Project GR Supra manual now weighs in with the same amount of fuel as before, 44 pounds. So if we do our fuel calculation to get it up to 3/4 of a tank of fuel, it puts the total at 33.85. So we've added about 5 pounds of weight to the car with all the mods thus far. Not bad. I mean, I was hoping to see weight savings with like the titanium stuff, but the raised wheels are heavier, the lip adds weight in the front, the mirror caps are a little bit heavier, the wind deflectors, even though they're forged carbon and extremely light, they add a little bit of weight as well. It's jumping around. Now it's back down to 33.44. 33.43, 44. Anyways, about 4 to 5 pounds of weight we've added. So let's see what we can save by installing this full titanium SARD exhaust.
Quinn, that was the easiest exhaust I've ever removed from a car.
For working on a German car, that was remarkably easy to remove.
There, like, for the hangers, there's 4 bolts in the back, and then there's like 1 hanger in the middle, and then 1 at the front.
Yeah.
And then you just have to remove a little cross member thing, which was pretty easy as well.
So one thing that we didn't mention is the stock exhaust weighs in at 55 pounds, and the SARD is 30 pounds, 29.5 pounds less. So let's just show the stock real quick. This is a giant muffler.
Yeah.
But Felix, when he did his catless downpipe, he said it's like ridiculously loud with the stock muffler.
Oh, really?
I don't think there's a lot of packing material in there. This exhaust is like, for given its size, is not that heavy. An AP1 S2000 exhaust is 55 pounds.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it's small. I mean, it's definitely smaller than this overall. It's all stainless steel. It looks like it's all stainless steel, although it looks like they weld it with just like regular steel.
And they also do a little bit of other kinds of persuasion to get it to work.
Yeah, it's crimped and dented in all sorts of places. So what we're gonna do from here is we're gonna transfer the hangers over to the new muffler section, and we're gonna remove the OEM exhaust valve and transfer it over to the SARD. And then we're gonna, I guess we'll just work our way from the downpipe back.
Keep everything loose and then tighten once we have positioning.
And we'll just add the hangers like where we need to, and we'll adjust it as needed. These tips are going to be a challenge, I think, to keep recessed, but we made notes of where the stock tips land, so we're going to try to match them up with the SARD.
Sick.
Didn't shut it off yet. That's why the door's open.
What's your top tip, Quinn?
Pro tip, kids, especially with tie and stainless steel, if you want it to heat color nicely. Now, I don't know how much of this exhaust is actually going to heat color, but last time I looked at the S2000 titanium, it looked like it was coloring nicely.
Yeah, good.
I'm using isopropyl alcohol and I'm wiping it down. Even though this is brand new, look at, see all those dark spots in the dirt? You want to get all the oils from hands and whatever manufacturing off of this, so when it does heat color, you don't get those nasty dirty brown spots. Instead, we're just going to get a nice mix of gold, most likely for sure, possibly some blues. If it gets really hot, purple. It goes gold, purple, and then blue. But I'm just wiping everything down, getting all that grease off.
It's worth that extra step just to let it burn in nice.
I always recommend, wearing gloves, like just what I'm wearing, these latex gloves. If you do install a titanium exhaust like this with your bare hands, it's fine. You just gotta really wipe it down extra nice if you want it to look nice when it starts to get hot. If you don't care, then just send it.
I'm not the most anal person in the world, but like that always bugs me, like a dirty exhaust.
Matthew was just telling me how he hates it when you see somebody installing something with his bare hands and they don't wipe it off.
Like even like just bare dirty hands.
Yeah.
Like greasy hands. Like you just spend all this money on your nice exhaust system. Like just take the extra second.
Well, yeah, especially for what this exhaust costs. Like I want it to look pristine, and plus it's like this is it. This is a Halo car build. You know, everything's brand new. I want everything to look as minty and clean as long as it possibly can before I get my hands on it and put it through its paces.
So that's our top tip.
Pro tip for
back to it.
Any exhaust.
Quinn found something really cool.
Little Easter egg. I didn't even know this was a thing. So on the muffler, there's this little plaque, and it says B58, B30, BT, which is the engine code for the Supra. Their model number, but this is exhaust number 19.
That's freaking cool.
How neat is that?
Yeah.
SARD, if you ever see this video, I'm a fan of your products. And remember, I was the first boy in the US of A to buy your exhaust.
Sick.
Filming?
Oh, we're filming.
Oh boy. All right, boys and girls. So, couple notes on the install. We finagled the exhaust fluid, probably because I wanted it to be as perfect as possible. It's funny, if you go on SARD's website, the stock photos show the tip like sticking out from the back like this far, and I was like, I almost didn't buy it because of that, but then I read somewhere on Google Translated when I was reading the description that the tips were adjustable length. So I was like, okay, could probably push them in. The car, after the full titanium exhaust, now mind you, I still have the catted downpipe, so there's some weight in there that we're gonna lose when we go catless. We went from 3385 to 3356 pounds. A weight savings of 29 pounds.
Exactly as advertised.
They advertised 29 and a half.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if the scales are down to a half a pound accurate. They're probably not, but still, it's still weight reduction. Any weight reduction is a good thing, but Matthew, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get this car feasibly under 3,300. That was what I said the original goal, and now I'm putting my foot in my mouth.
With a quarter tank of gas, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where we can feasibly take weight out of it. I mean, again, if we do like a carbon airbox, that would save a couple pounds.
Quinn, I'm sorry, I got to cut you off.
Cut me off.
Can we start this fucking thing?
Yes, yes.
I need to hear it.
Let's get it started.
What do you think, Quinn? How do you like it?
It's a little ricer.
I mean, it is with the blue tips. That is a little bit ricer, but like,
I'm sure this is going to carbon fall over time and just go black. Yeah. What do you think?
The sound?
Yeah.
Sounds amazing. It's super deep. Like, I mean, I don't know. Do you think, like, I wasn't in the car with you, but do you think it might have a little bit of drone to it?
Not at least from the cabin. But again, that's just idle. Yeah. You know, when there's load on it, that's going to be a different ballpark. But the takeaways that I noticed were with the valve closed, it sounds just like the stock one, which is a good sign.
Yep.
Any exhaust, when there's a cat in place that's still close to the OEM noise levels, it's a good sign. It's definitely louder with it open, it's deeper. Yeah. The pops are like much more muffled.
Yeah, they were.
It's not as like burble tuny.
It's not as like tinny, which I thought like would be a little bit more tinny with the titanium.
Yeah,
if I'm honest. Yeah,
it's surprising. I wonder if that's something that, well, it's either something that they did with the oval muffler, or maybe it's something how these tips are, because these are really unusually formed tips.
The resonator setup's a lot different too. Maybe that has something to do with it.
And the resonators. Yeah. Yep. So, unfortunately, we can't do a driving impression, but we will. And I know a lot of you guys are asking me, because you've asked me on Instagram, why am I doing all this stuff with a car that I haven't driven yet? And I look at it like this. I didn't get the pleasure to drive a manual GR Supra, but I did drive a stock auto Supra. So I got a pretty good gauge and feel for the car. It's really good out of the box, right? These mods that I did, it's like if I went to the slip angle and I said, guys, what's the factory slip angle special Supra I can buy? It's probably literally this. So just a minor suspension work, a little bit more camera in the front, make the car more playful, than less camera in the front than rear from the factory alignment. Nice set of wheels, couple key aesthetic mods, and a catback exhaust. It's still, in my eyes, pretty much a stock car. It just has the OEM suspension issue mostly addressed in the alignment, right? I also think of this car as Keiichi Tsushiya's NSXR. He bought one brand new when they came out. His, for whatever reason, was a pearl white paint. This is pearl white paint. It wasn't like the conventional championship white with a black roof. He did a set of wheels. He did a catback exhaust on it and his coilovers. And I think even to this day, that's mostly still all that's done to that car. It's almost like the Tsushiya tuning factor for like an already good car platform.
So you got his Hachiroku
and his
NSXR.
And my wannabe NSXR. See, Keiichi, senpai, you taught me well. But once I get through the break-in and really get a feel for the car, for how it is, and obviously we're gonna line the suspension to really make sure that everything's handling properly. We'll do all the videos for it and get all the data. And then I'm a catless downpipe and a tune away from this thing making real numbers and being really big power experience. So it's all on the roadmap. And that's it. If you guys like this content, give us a like and a subscribe. Check out slipanglemedia.com, which all the tuner parts that we're installing on these cars from here on out will be available through our website. If you see something that we have on the channel that is not on the website, please message us directly. We can get you a quote for it. That's the best way if you guys want to support what we're doing, is go purchase some parts or apparel, if you like our apparel. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you all in the next one. Done.
I'm gonna do a different done. Done.